The coronavirus has infected hundreds of workers at meat processing plants in 5 states and counting. Laura Podesta explains as those plant shutdowns, and there are concerns now that there could soon be shortages of meat and other products in the supermarkets.
More than 30 employees have tested positive for COVID-19 at this Colorado meatpacking plant. 78-year-old Saul Sanchez was rushed to the hospital after returning from work with a fever in late March. His family said their final goodbyes by FaceTime.
They shut the ventilator off and we watched as he passed. I never ever thought that that's the way I would say goodbye to my dad.
On Monday, the CEO of JBS USA announced the plant was closing down at least until April 24th. In Iowa, the announcement of another major shutdown.
A Tyson plant in Louisa County has experienced an outbreak of COVID-19 among its employees.
In South Dakota, this Smithfield Foods plant was forced to temporarily close after around 300 people tested positive. The company says the plant produces roughly 5% of the country's pork supply.
So the big concern is a break in the food supply chain could potentially result in shortages of beef, pork, and poultry, and ultimately empty grocery store shelves.
Experts like Terry Fankhauser with the Colorado Cattlemen's Association say the average American should not be concerned.
This really shouldn't affect the consumers at this point in time. We have abundant supplies of beef in cold storage.
Supporters of the sustainable food movement say COVID-19 is proving their argument that meat should be locally sourced rather than from large centralized plants that, when shut, disrupt the national food chain. Smithfield says it'll resume operation at its shuttered plant once it gets approval from local, state, and federal officials. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Meantime, farmers are looking for more ways to get their surplus into food pantries and grocery stores in need. Dairy groups and agriculture officials from some dairy-producing states have asked the U.S. Department of Agriculture to step in and buy the additional products for emergency distribution. Still ahead here at noon, a delicious egg bake with Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.